Hey, how you doing? This is Kitch, and you are watching me play Factorio. I've let this thing run for a couple of hours now. I went out and got some pizza with kids, and came back, and this is what we're looking at. It's working. You'll notice up in the left-hand corner, we have actually launched 8 satellites. But there are a couple of flaws. One is that you may notice that there is just a ridiculous amount of space science on the belt right now. And I feel one of the things this setup is really good at is making rockets at a much faster pace than creating the other sciences. So that is a concern. Let's see, where's our labs at? Which one are we waiting for? We're waiting on yellow. That seems to be the bottleneck right now. But yeah, I mean, I didn't put any logic on controlling any of the space science stuff. It looks like we are actually going to need to do that. For this particular setup. Because, yeah, this is just going to fill up with space science at this rate, and it's just going to clog it up completely, and we definitely do not want that. One of the other major flaws with this design, I don't know, call it a flaw, it's just something to point out, is that if we take the production stats out, we're actually generating 7.5 science a minute with our 60 science a minute setup. What is that? Like, I don't know, 12% of what our goal is, something like that. So yeah, it's not the most efficient thing out there in the world, which is, you know, I was expecting it to not be. I wasn't expecting to get 60 science a minute out of this setup. That's just craziness. But yeah, I don't know if I was expecting it to be quite that low. Interesting little tidbit that I came across. You'll notice I've set all these to filter inserters. And the reason why I didn't realize this is that after I launched the first rocket, it didn't give me any space science. And it will actually fill up the rocket silo with just whatever. I think the first time there was like a stack of 200 red circuits in here in the cargo area of the rocket. There was a lot of copper in there at one point, copper wire, until I finally realized that these guys don't care. They'll just grab whatever and throw it in there. So I did put a filter on there so it's only grabbing the rocket stuff, like the satellite, and that seems to make it work. If you have the auto launch with cargo. Interesting. I did not know that. I don't know if that's a .17 thing, if that's a mod thing. I've never tried to put anything in a rocket other than a satellite. Other than that one thing. And I didn't know you could generally just put whatever you want in there. Again, I don't know if you can do that in vanilla or if that may be a creative thing. I have no idea. Other than that, though, I mean, it's working. It does work. So that part is there. But again, I think we can do better. I got to thinking. We've got enough items to do the amount according to the numbers. We've got enough resources, materials, and stuff like that on the belt in order to do the amount. The problem is that I don't know. For example, we've got gears here, we've got red science here. If we need a red science, in a normal circumstance, you know, we would just have them going directly to there, and they would be right there ready to go. But the problem is that the gear that this red science machine may need is right here. So that means it has to travel all the way around and come back, and then come back up here, and then finally get to here. And that could be who knows how long. So that's kind of what we're dealing with right here. Same thing with the wire. Same thing with any of these things, right? It's accessibility. We have the resources. They just may be on the other side of the belt, and we just have to wait for them to come around. They'll get there eventually, but I think that's our biggest problem right now. So the first thought I have would be, hey, let's just double everything, right? Let's just double the amount of items that we have on the belt available so that it gives it a better chance for it to be available whenever it's there. The problem with that is that I don't think we have enough infrastructure here to support that. So another way to go about doubling that is, I think we're actually in a pretty good spot where with these numbers, they seem to be working out just perfectly. So what if we just have the amount of science that we're trying to generate with the same amount of inputs, right? That would be doubling it as well. So that's what I did up here. I basically just set this up. This is 30 science a minute as opposed to 60. It's a little bit smaller, but it's also a little bit bigger. So we're getting the same amount of items out here on this, and we shouldn't have a problem. I mean, the belts are a little bit smaller. That's going to be a thing, but hopefully not too much. And we'll just see. We'll just see if that works out a little bit better. Another modification that I did, if you look like right here, I've set it up where can use some fluid barrels. So this is a lubricant machine right here that is going across and feeding an engine machine. This opens up some problems in that we're sacrificing a spot where we can put an inserter in order to get these pipes here, right? Let's go up here and check out these, the same thing. All these where we have this pipe, it's one spot where we can't have an inserter. So they can't place out or pull in from all belts. We have to make a sacrifice there. So what I've decided to do is prioritize the input, where there will always be 5 grabbers that are pulling input, and we've sacrificed one of the output ones. So there'll only be 4 coming out. And I tried to put them up in such a way, like, for example, the empty water barrels are going to go out on these top 4, whereas the batteries will go out on these bottom 4. And I tried to think about that just a little bit and kind of mix it up a bit. Plastics going up to the top, etc. I tried to kind of balance that out a little bit. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. But yeah, we got the petroleum products up here. Sulfuric acid is going along the top right here. We're pulling in water here, and the lubricant, and it was down there. And what's the other thing we need? Light oil? Oh, yeah, right here. But it's all barreled. Now we have to deal with the empties, the empty barrels. So what I did is over here on this side of the factory, I just put some filter inserters with some barrels here, so they're going to try to grab them as they come off. These guys on the back end here are not really doing anything. But we'll let them go. If you're not aware, it's very rare. When you're dealing with blue belts and these inserters, you always want your grabber inserters to be facing upstream, not downstream. You'll notice that I did this in earlier experiments, that you always want to send out downstream and pull in upstream, because if you try to pull in from, like, if these were turned around, these will very rarely grab items. I'm not sure if they just can't quite see stuff on the belt or how that works. I'm not sure the mechanics of it, but you'll see them kind of get up like they're getting ready to grab, and you'll just see the item go on. I don't know. I think they need a little bit of a lead, and I suspect that maybe it's not visible. They need to look a couple of belts ahead to know if it's ready to grab it. And when it's a belt or 2 ahead, like it's underground right here or right here even, this inserter can't see it until it actually pops out here. That's just me theorizing on game mechanics, but I tend to do that sometimes. So yeah, this is basically the same setup. It's set up for 30 science a minute. I am going to go ahead and turn this on and go grab some more pizza. Oh, and I got the fluids coming in right here. It's the exact same concept, and they're coming into that empty belt right there. So yeah, let's just go ahead and turn all these guys on. And yeah, I'll go grab some more pizza, and I will see you here shortly. All right, so this has been running for about an hour, a little bit over an hour, and it's been working out fairly well. We have plenty of space on the belts. I don't have any evidence to back this up other than my own observations, but I'm definitely seeing machines moving a lot more. I did 2 science labs. They seem a lot busier than the other science labs. We have launched, let's see, the 3 rockets? And we're 74% ready to go on this one. I didn't control any of that with logic. That's something I definitely want to do. My thought is that we kind of work on limiting these based on the amount of space science we currently have on the belt, and to even not start building the rocket until we've used up a bit of it. Like if there's over 500 or something like that, we don't even start building the rocket yet. I haven't really thought about the numbers or anything like that, but that's the way I'm thinking about limiting that. Unfortunately, you can't hook up the rocket to the circuit network, which is kind of annoying. It would be nice to get a signal that has how many rocket parts are available or something like that, so you could tell when it was done. That way we could build the rocket and just not launch it until it's ready to go. Another thing we could do is get another set of filter inserters and put those all around and set them just to the satellites and disable those until the science is below a certain... I kind of like that better. Just another set of inserters on all of these guys, and disable them if there is, more than 100 space science on the line. And then they'd be active and grab the satellite and then launch. Yeah, I think we may go about doing it that way. I don't know, but that's the idea. So what's the big thing here? The big thing is the number. Let's take a look and see how this all by itself is going. We're at 13 point. It was 13.2. It's 13.1 now. It was 13.2. We'll go with 13.2 because that number was higher. I will just take it to 13, right? So that's a little bit better. That's almost half, or that's almost double what we were getting down there. With less machines, just more input. And since we're aiming for 30 and we're getting 13. Boy, if we take that down a little bit, it looks a lot better, doesn't it? No, 13, 15. That would be half. Let's go with this number. So we're getting half of what we expected, as opposed to was it like 12% or something like that. So this is actually working out much better, much better. But we're still using the same amount of resources. But the thing is that once we get this thing going, it's really not using that many resources at all. I mean, they're all being buffered here on these lines, and you can just see the trickle coming in. I mean, it's just little blips here and there of what the resources that we actually need. A single train could easily sustain this once we get over that initial hump of the initialization of the factory. But no, it's been going really well. Haven't really had any problems with any of the fluids. Petroleum is all the way up. Water is all the way up. Lubricant all the way up. And light oil is all the way up. That's good. So yeah, I mean, I think pure just sushi setup wise, I mean, I think this is actually working out pretty good. What I don't know is if all the beacons and stuff like that are even necessary. I don't know. They kind of seem silly to me. Since they're not producing all the time, the speed's really not needed. Maybe just the productivity modules would be enough. That's an experiment for another day, though. But this is fine. This works out good. But the question I have is, can we do it? Can we do it a little bit better? There's always a higher target to be pointing for. And I got to thinking, there was an issue with like the wire. There's like a lot of wire and a lot of copper and a lot of stuff that's on the belt. The issue being that it's just taking up space on the belt, but also like wire. Some of these things are only needed just, for a few other machines, right? Like pipe. The only reason we need pipe for, I believe, is for engines. And engines are like way down there somewhere. So there's like an idea of some direct insert. That would work as well. But it didn't seem very sushi-y, and I couldn't get it to work very well with the beacon layout. So I kind of thought maybe like I set up something like this where there's like a little break right here that is not part of the main sushi belt. It's just this guy is spitting out to this wire that comes down, or this line that goes down here to the green circuits, as does this guy. It's not hooked up to any circuits or anything. It's just basically trying to keep this guy stocked with wire. And the wire machines are still spitting out here. So we can grab from there and there. And I think that would probably work out better in any of the situations. Another one I can think of just off the top of my head is the iron sticks. Those don't need to go all the way around the sushi belt. They just need to go right over here to this guy. So it's kind of silly to have them go all the way around. Same thing with electric engines. Those don't need to go those don't need to be on the belt. Nothing takes those but this machine right here. So I think that would help quite significantly with our production stuff. But I decided not to go with that in the end because it's not very sushi. And sushi is kind of what we're going for here. And that's just a regular kind of belt thing. So last night on the Discord, Tech Fusion was talking and saying he showed something online that looked really, really cool. Like it might be a good idea. And so I thought we could go ahead and try it. So I've set up some machines up here, and they're organized in just a little bit of a different way. I'm going to take out this. Well, let's just do it here. This bottom line would be going away in this setup. But for now, let's just take these guys out right here. Okay, so the idea is that we have copper wire. We've got some copper wire here. And copper wire is only used to make the green circuits and the red circuits. That's its only purpose. There's two things that use it, but it's only these things. So what if we made up a kind of sub Sushi Network and did something like this right here to like right there, and then brought that up like this. Whoops. And took that around like that, right? So that we have this sushi belt right here, and the main sushi belt would be on these three lines that goes basically all the way around the factory like the others did. So yeah, in this example, this top belt right here would be no mas, and as far as this one would be gone as well. We do need that though, because the blinky blinky drives me nuts. Okay, so in this situation, we would take out these inserters because the wire doesn't need to go on the main line anymore. We could take out these inserters because it's not grabbing anything off the sub sushi belt. We could probably move these to stack inserters to get those out a little bit faster. And I've already got stack inserters coming on the in here. You guys would not spit out to that sub belt. We're only putting green circuits on this one because green circuits are used by like a bajillion things. And yeah, we can carry that on around. You are no longer going to spit into there. You're not going to pull from there. You're going to spit out to that, and you're going to pull in from that. You'll pull in from that. You'll pull in from that. You will not spit out there. And let's see, same thing for you guys, and you guys, and you guys. Okay. So we would have to, let's see, if we took this a belt further, we could have like two things spitting out here. I don't know. I don't know that we I don't know that that's gonna make a difference, because there's gonna be so much wire coming out of this machine. Those two would conflict with each other. what we could do is take that like that, bring that around. We should be able to push these guys a little bit further and put a stack inserter there, a stack inserter there. All right, and that would actually feed both sides of the belt. Ooh, I like that. Yeah. All right, that would be right there. Now, we still want to track how much you guys have pulled off, so we would want to hook those 3 up. And we could still use our wire request right here. And still use our counter, so we could still use these to set up the numbers. That would still work the same. But the wire would only end up on this internal belt right here. Let's see, you're going to need to be hooked up. All right, and let's do the same for this right here. Let's see, we just take all of that, paste it right there, and that should be good. Except you need to be one of those. You need to be... Okay, no, it's not going to work at all. All right, except we lost all our conditions as well. Okay, so that would be wire less than 0, read hand contents, pulse, right? Is that one? Nope. Nope. Is this one? All right, and these should be set correctly. Yes, just read hand contents. All right, you should be set correctly as well. You guys would need to be hooked up. And you need to be set to read the hand contents, and you are. All right, that'll work just fine there. You guys just need to be hooked up. Let's see, that needs to be hooked up over there. No. That needs to be hooked up there. You guys are hooked up over there, so we just need a green wire right here. The green one up here is our counting wire. The red one here, up here, is our subtracting wire, and the red one down here is our request wire. You guys hooked up. Just set to read the hand contents. Yes. You should be just fine. We just need to hook you up there. And you right there. And you get the idea. You get the idea. Yeah, so that keeps the copper wire to this little sub network right here. And it's not going all the way around on the belt. It's just right here where it's needed, and it's going to be accessible for these guys whenever they need it. So that makes it where this is only going to be waiting on the iron plates to come through the main bus, and you guys are only going to be waiting on the plastic and the green circuits, of course, to come through on the main bus, and you guys could grab them onto that main bus, main sushi belt. So that, I like the idea, and I don't think it's kind of cheating with the setup, because it is another sushi belt. It's just sushi belt on another sushi belt. Should stay fairly balanced. The only thing that I'm wondering about is, are 3 belts going to be enough? But I think we're going to need a lot less. We're going to need a lot less items on the belt if we can limit some of this stuff. We don't have to put in giant numbers of things in order to account for them. We don't need to double or triple any numbers to account for them. We can be a little bit more precise, and it's going to keep the other things off the belt. So maybe 3 is going to be enough. I don't know. There's only one way I know to find out. So let's just kind of look through here. We've already got like the wire and the circuits. I think that is a very good design for that. This guy right here I like. Did I just hear? No. Okay. I'm hearing things. So it'd probably be good to have like the pipe and the engines on one of those. Engines. Could we do electric engines too? And could we do... How crazy can we get with this? Are engines needed for anything else other than that? They're needed for blue science. That's right. They also need solid fuel and advanced circuits. So we could put even like the blue science in the same thing as well. And then run an internal little sushi belt right here that has, let's see, what are robot frames used for again? They're only used for one science. It's the yellow science. So if we put blue and yellow science in here, and then had our little internal sushi belt going like we did up there, but you know, instead of just having wire, we could put the pipe, the engines, the electric engines, and the robot frames all on that belt and cover all of these guys and save that room on the belt and also save that production time as well. So that would be a good candidate. Batteries. Batteries are used for what? We need them for the robot frames, right? Yeah, what else? Anything else? Oh, accumulators. Yeah, they need batteries, so that probably wouldn't be a good idea. But what would be an interesting idea is what if we did the solar panels. The idea being we'll make satellites on this, and we keep the accumulators, the solar panels, and the radar all on the same belt, because that is all needed for those and only those. Rocket fuel, loaded city structures, and blue circuits are used elsewhere. So yeah, that might be a good candidate. To cut and paste that. Let's see, anything else? Rocket fuel, control units, those need to go out to the rockets. Loaded city structures, those need to go out to the rockets. Ah, you. Iron sticks and rail would definitely fall into that category. Rail, and what science is that? Is that blue? No, it's purple. Purple, right? Yes. Purple. What else do you need? Electric furnaces and productivity modules. We could put productivity modules. And probably even, we could put all that science stuff on the same one, right? Productivity modules are right here. Iron furnace or stone or electric furnaces right here. Yeah, so we could have that as a module with an internal belt going all the way around. That would keep railroad track. These other two, they're kind of minor, but these two are big ones that take up a lot of space. So yeah, that would be a good module. And the other big one that I can think of, well, this one isn't a big one. This is not the one I was thinking of, but it's one that would definitely work. Would be transport belt, inserters, and green science. The big one I was thinking of was you guys. Bullets, armor-piercing bullets, grenades, walls, grenades. Science. That right there. And if we combined these two together, we could put our stone furnace, because I think you and you are the only one that use the stone bricks, and that would keep the stone bricks off of the line. Interesting. Very interesting. All right, well, those are some of the big ones. Let's see, any others here that are potential that would be really nice? Really straightforward? I think we've pretty much got them all here. Yeah. Oh, you know what would be a good one? Right here. Sulfur and sulfuric acid. Keep the sulfur off of the line. Plastic. Yeah, that's used for loaded city structures. Gears are used elsewhere. I think our refining setups are pretty much set in stone. So yeah, because that's the way the pipes work out the best. The way the factories line up best. I'm not saying there's not better ways to do it. It worked out really, really well that way. Also, let's see, assembly machine, or these guys are used only with control units. But I don't know. I'm not sure how much of any of this is going to be saved. I think the big savings right here are going to be on the copper wire. That one's going to be huge. The iron sticks and the railroad track, I think that is going to be huge as well. Possibly some of these other guys, but it's more just novelty for a lot of these other guys. Where are we at? Are we still... We dropped down to 11. All right. I should not have checked that. Oh, I bet we have not launched a rocket in a while. Is that the problem? Do we not have the science? What has happened? Or are we just too full? Did we reach the point where we're too much on that? I don't know. I don't know what happened there. Blue chips. Maybe we broke it. Who knows? Well, I think I'm going to take this little section right here, and I'm going to try to apply some of this idea to it, and we'll just see. We'll just see if 3 belts are going to be enough. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. We'll find out. And that can drastically reduce the size of all of this, maybe, since we're only going to be sending 3 belts in now, and we might be able to get it where it actually falls in between these 2 rows of beacons so that it can be tileable. I think I claimed that it was. It's not. It's 4 tiles over from actually being very straightforward and tileable. But I'm going to work on that. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. I will see you in the next episode where we'll be testing another design. And we'll just see if we can beat... Okay, it's on its way back up. We're back up to almost 11 now. Scared me there for a second. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. I'll see you next time.